Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today. Look, if you're a focused learner who's ready to completely transform how you tackle your daily professional tasks, you have landed in the exact right spot. Today, we're unpacking a definitive, beginner-friendly guide to building your very own digital workforce, pulling directly from the insights of the AI Agent Factory. Okay, let's just dive right in. Our main goal today is a huge mindset shift. We're going to transition you from simply doing work with AI to having AI actually do the work for you. It's a game changer, and we're going to walk through it step by step. Here's our quick roadmap for the explainer. We'll kick things off with Section 1, the daily work overload. Then we'll meet the Digital FTE in Section 2. Section 3 covers climbing the AI ladder, followed by the anatomy of an AI worker in Section 4. We'll get super practical with the 10-80-10 action plan in Section 5, and finally, we'll look ahead to the AI native future in Section 6.
All right, Section 1, the daily work overload.
Let's start by grounding this in reality, shall we? Picture this scene because I know we've all been there. It is 8:07 a.m. Maybe you're project manager and you are already behind on a critical report. Or, maybe you're a finance read desperately trying to get numbers to reconcile across two clunky enterprise systems that literally refuse to talk to each other. Or maybe your whole team is just paralyzed waiting on an answer that should have been in your inbox yesterday. It's stressful, right? That is the classic bottleneck of modern knowledge work.
But what if you could just hand off that frustrating, repetitive work to a tireless digital coworker? Imagine having a teammate that flawlessly follows your instructions, uses the exact same software you do, double-checks its own work for typos, and hands back a finished product you can actually trust. That right there, that bridges the gap between feeling completely overwhelmed and discovering the absolute magic of a reliable AI teammate.
Which brings us nicely to Section 2, meet the Digital FTE.
Getting a grip on this concept is the ultimate solution to those workflow bottlenecks we just talked about. So what exactly is a digital FTE? Well, in HR terms, FTE stands for full-time equivalent. It's just the standard way to measure one employee's workload. So a digital FTE, which we also call an AI worker, is an AI agent that performs real, structured work inside your organization, always under human oversight. We're not talking about a flashy tech demo or a temporary parlor trick here. You really need to picture a new hire who never sleeps, scales instantly, and works right alongside you.
And there is a stark contrast here that we need to highlight. Most of us are pretty familiar with general agents by now. Think ChatGPT or Claude. You ask it a question, it spits out an answer, but guess what? You still have to go do the actual work. An AI worker is a massive evolution from that. An AI worker does a real job. You define the task, the AI actually executes the work, and then you just sign off on the final output. It is literally the difference between asking for advice and delegating a task.
So, how do we get there? Section 3, climbing the AI ladder.
If the idea of building digital workers sounds incredibly complex right now, take a deep breath. You don't need to be an enterprise architect. There's a really manageable path upward, and every single person starts at the exact same place. Rung 1 is foundations. This is just getting comfortable with basic browser skills using tools like ChatGPT. Nothing to install, totally simple. Rung 2 is mode 1, where you use AI as a power tool to get your own work done way faster. And finally, we hit rung 3, mode 2, where you actually build AI workers that do the work for you. And hey, you can stop at any rung and still get incredible value out of this.
Take a look at this breakdown, specifically focusing on that big leap from mode 1 to mode 2. In mode 1, your role is still the doer. The AI is basically an amazing power tool, but it only runs while your session is active. Now, mode 2? That requires a total mindset shift. You become the builder. The AI becomes a tireless coworker. And honestly, here is the most magical part. In mode 2, the AI keeps running and executing tasks even after you slam your laptop shut for the day. You're moving from a passive consumer to an active orchestrator of work.
Moving on to Section 4, anatomy of an AI worker.
Let's shift gears for a second and peek under the hood. What actually makes these digital coworkers function reliably in a real professional setting? To grasp this, we use the 5-layer cake of modern AI, a great metaphor popularized by NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. At the very bottom, you've got energy, then chips, infrastructure, and models. The big tech giants are pouring billions of dollars into those bottom 4 layers, but your work, the digital workforce we're talking about right now, that lives entirely at the very top, the application layer. This is the sweet spot where AI stops being this abstract, intimidating technology and starts becoming genuinely useful for your daily workflows.
When you're building an AI worker, that application layer is made up of 4 critical ingredients. First up, structured specifications.
You have to give the agent crystal clear definitions of what it needs to do. Second is domain expertise. The AI absolutely relies on your specific professional knowledge to guide its reasoning. Third, engineering architecture. That's the digital plumbing keeping things reliable. And fourth, human oversight. The feedback loops to keep everything safe and accountable. Combine those four, and boom, you transform human expertise into a scalable digital worker.
Now, I need to emphasize this next point because it is absolutely crucial. These systems do not replace human judgment, period. If you've been worried about AI totally taking over your job tomorrow, you can let that go. Your domain expertise is the engine running this whole show. The AI is fantastic at executing routine reasoning and repeating workflows at a massive scale, but it desperately needs the professional, that's you, to provide the necessary judgment and guardrails.
Let's get practical with Section 5, the 10-80-10 Action Plan.
So, how do we practically govern this collaboration day to day? Enter the 10-80-10 rule. This is the workflow rhythm you're going to use every single day. Think of it like a sandwich, where the human wraps around the AI's work. That first 10% is intent. That's you setting the domain knowledge, the framework, and those clear specs we talked about. Then you hand the baton over. The middle 80% is execution. That's your AI worker tirelessly grinding through data, writing code, or drafting reports. Finally, the last 10% is verification. The baton comes back to you to use your professional judgment, check the output, and confirm it's safe to deploy.
There's a quote from the source material regarding these systems that just hits the nail on the head. They extend human judgment, scale it, and make it repeatable. Just think about the leverage that gives you. By adopting this 10-80-10 rhythm, you aren't just saving a few hours a week, you are taking your unique, hard-earned professional expertise and scaling it across your entire organization in a way that is perfectly repeatable. It gives knowledge workers a superpower they have quite literally never had before.
Let's wrap up the roadmap with Section 6, the AI native future.
Okay, so what happens when you start stringing all these automated workflows together at a massive scale? Well, you get an AI native company. This is the ultimate destination of the ladder we just climbed. An AI native organization isn't just a traditional company that happens to use a couple of AI tools on the side. No, it is an organization run by a very small, tight-knit group of human founders or leaders, supported by a massive, highly scalable staff of AI workers who do the heavy lifting of structured knowledge work.
And if you're sitting there thinking, sure, maybe in 50 years, listen to this staggering prediction from OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman. He points out that tech leaders right now are actively taking bets on when we're going to see the very first one-person billion-dollar company. Just one person. That is an unimaginably massive economic shift, and it's being driven entirely by combining human expertise with rented digital infrastructure and fleets of these tireless digital FTEs.
So, what's the big takeaway from our whole explainer today? It's that it is officially time to move beyond AI curiosity and get straight into AI execution. Look, most organizations right now are just tinkering. They're playing around with isolated experiments. A little prototype here, a fun little chatbot there. But that's just not going to cut it anymore. The next massive competitive advantage is going to belong to the people who stop playing and start actually building reliable, repeatable workflows with digital workers. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question for you. Are you ready to build your digital workforce? You've got the beginner's roadmap now. You know exactly how to make that shift from being the doer to being the builder. The tools are literally right there waiting for your domain expertise to guide them. So, I want you to think about it. What frustrating routine tasks are you going to hand off to your brand new digital coworker tomorrow morning at 8:07 a.m.? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I genuinely cannot wait to see what you build.